To My Clubhouse. My name is Sally Colón, and I'm so excited to be here today because I have this incredible woman who's one of my close personal girlfriends. She is a dating coach, relationship expert, a matchmaker, and the CEO and creator of Level Connections, Miss April Beyer. Give it up for April Beyer.
Thanks.
I'm so excited to have you today.
I am always excited to see you. This is so
because
fun.
you help people find love.
I do.
And I love that about you.
I do.
What made you become a matchmaker of all things?
Oh, nothing made me become a matchmaker. I fell into it.
Ooh,
I
tell me
fell
the story.
into it. I worked for a matchmaker years and years ago, back in the covered wagon days, like a good 22 years ago. And I had no idea that I would fall in love with the industry, but I did. And after running that agency for about 6+ years, I left and decided, wait a minute, this is something that I'm good at. It's something I'm passionate about. And it was actually the psychology and the blending of attributes and what creates connection. I've always been fascinated by what inspires romance, connection, collaboration, commitment. And I got to do that through the work. So I've been at it on my own since 2003.
Wow.
In my own business. You know, it's evolved. It evolved
Yeah.
into becoming a coach and advising those clients, because you can't be a matchmaker and not be an advisor at the exact same time, because setting up the date is just like a tiny little
Right.
element of it.
So tell me, it's been about 20 something years. Do you remember how many people you've matched so far?
Directly, probably over 120 marriages, and indirectly through programs and so forth, and coaching, you know, thousands of relationships, thousands. But, you know, when you're working one-on-one with clients, it's impossible to get everybody married every year. But last year I went to 4 weddings, and it was beautiful because I actually had a very close personal relationship with both the client and the women that had married the client.
And
So,
do you stay
yeah.
friends with all the couples that you
I
match?
do.
Yeah,
do.
because we have a
do.
close personal friend of ours, Tanya Memi,
Yes.
who you matched, and she's in love, and he's in love, and they're still together. And I know that when they had their anniversary recently, they invited you and your husband to join them.
They did. They did. Yes.
So how excited do you get when you see someone you match that's still together, still thriving?
It's gratifying,
Yeah.
you know, but it's equally as painful when it doesn't work, because you get so invested in their joy and you get invested in their happiness. But the one thing I don't invest in is outcome. So although that was amazing to be there for their anniversary, and I was so honored, we had such a good time, what was really gratifying was watching how they blended. You know, sitting across from them that night and watching how they interacted and how happy they made one another. What they do with these relationships, whether they marry or get engaged or have a long-term commitment, that I'm not attached to, but I'm attached to how do I introduce 2 people that can help each other grow, that can bring out the best in that other person. That is the part that makes me sit back and think, wow.
Wow, exactly. So the way to apply is you have a very extensive application. So it's not just give me your name and your height and your weight and your boob size or whatever. You're in it. Like it is a 20 to 30 page application, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't like to think about it as an application, but more of a guided interview. So when I built my new company, I wanted to create something that was scalable and also educational and fun. So instead of it being a sort of a static application, those are boring and they don't really teach you anything.
Right.
My system actually teaches you as you go. It's responsive. It's dynamic in nature. It's been likened to the Myers-Briggs for the heart. So when you're filling
Which is very
out,
cool, by the way.
I mean, that was the intention.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
when you're going through and going through your application process, you're actually taking stock and you're learning about yourself and thinking, wow, I didn't know that trait was that important to me.
Well, I went through the application because
you
I'm one of the girls in your, what do you call it? Like
network.
Your
or
network.
community.
Yes, by the way. So I really took my time and answered those questions like, okay, be honest. You know, don't answer them just to get a certain person. Like you got to be really raw and authentic when you're answering these questions too.
Yeah, because you don't want to cheat yourself out of it. A lot of people go through our application process and they second guess, right? Like we do in life. I want to redo number 5. I want to redo number 7. But these are questions that are what I call your overall personality, not they're not predicated on how you felt that one particular day.
Right.
Because to me, the attributes that you were born with, the characteristics and traits, they're yours regardless if you've had a good day, a bad day, financial crisis, physical crisis. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So it's kind of an evergreen 160-degree view, right, of what's going on in someone's life.
What is your thought as a matchmaker about these dating sites, and what's your advice for women that are on the dating sites?
You actually have to harness your time, and you have to have clear expectations of what it is. So the way they bring you in is they usually give you a free trial, right? That's how most businesses work. So you come in and it's free, and then all of a sudden it's not so free. So you're investing a small nominal amount of money. But what I'm always surprised about is that people are either paying nothing or a very small, negligible amount of money, but they're expecting it to produce as if it's like a one-on-one matchmaker.
Yeah.
The apps are not designed to get you into a relationship. And the minute you know that, you start to glide through it and use them for yourself as opposed to the apps running you.
But how do you do that?
First of all, you literally take your time and say, I'm not going to get frustrated if somebody disappears. I'm not going to get frustrated if the wrong people approach, right? You can't call up the company and say there's something wrong with your algorithm.
Right.
They're not built for that.
Hey, Bumble.
Yeah, hey, Bumble.
This isn't working for me.
They're not built for that.
Right.
So I think it's managing your expectation and managing your time and not letting it fracture your sense of well-being. Because I'm coaching women and men all day who are absolutely done.
Yeah.
And they're giving up on dating altogether because now dating apps are synonymous with dating apps, and that's wrong. Dating is just dating.
Right.
Your dating app is the vehicle that gets you to the date. Right. It doesn't really matter how you meet. Just get
that
there. Date.
How many times have I called you, because you and I are friends, and said, I'm done.
Yeah.
No more apps.
And what did I tell you? And what did I tell you?
You're going to get back on?
I said, get back on.
Get back on.
Take a break. Take a breath, whether that's a day or a week or whatever, but then get back on. I really, Sally, I have a love-hate relationship with the apps because they do serve a purpose. You work hard. You have a family. Yeah. You're not available and accessible walking down the street 5, 6, 7 days a week. Right. And by the way, no one is. No one is, especially now with remote working. So they do serve a purpose, but it's the fact that people don't use them correctly and they don't have the right mindset around them.
Okay, let's go there for a second, because Bumble, as you know, the woman has to, message first. They have to reach out first. What are your thoughts on that, number one? But also, what do you think is a good opening line?
Okay, so I'll answer your first question. What do I think about women reaching out? I don't love it. I think it really was designed to give women that sense of empowerment and autonomy, right? No one can message you unless you've messaged them first. Right. So in theory, it was designed for the right reason. However, what they didn't consider in building out the app is that women actually, if you ask a woman, she would much rather prefer to be approached first.
Yes.
Yes?
Absolutely.
It's a feeling of femininity, right? Not a lot of women want to be the aggressor. But since a woman has to reach out first, that's okay. Be human first as opposed to thinking, I have to go court this guy. If the thought is, I'm just going to say hello to this person, regardless if it's a man or a woman, then you don't have to worry about being the aggressor or having to take that step. Right. I do find it hurts a lot of women because if a woman is now putting herself out there, not getting a response, it's like a double whammy.
It is.
And it feels bad.
Right. I agree.
Right.
So a good opening line is
there is no such thing as a good opening line.
I know. It's such a problem with these opening lines because I don't want to give them a breadcrumb because I don't like breadcrumbs. So I don't want to just say, hi, so-and-so, how are you? I don't want to do that.
Authenticity wins.
Okay.
And authenticity stands out in this very crowded market. So if you're coming up with a one-liner that's quick and funny and fast and it's something that you copy-paste, after a while, you're going to get that back. Right. So I'm a big believer in I'm going to scan someone's bio. I'm going to find something that's potent. And usually the potency is in the first 3 lines of someone's bio.
Ooh, I love that.
Whatever somebody chooses to write about in the first 3 is what is most near and dear to their heart, whether it's their dogs, their kids, their career, their travel. Mention that, right? Okay. Clearly, blank is important to you. Love that. I just wanted to say hello. If we were on the street and I didn't know you and you wanted to meet me and you saw me at a cafe reading a book, would you think of a line or would you just come up and say, hi, what are you reading? Or hi, I just wanted to say hello to you. you remind me of someone,
Right.
or whatever that is.
Sure.
I would be able to sense your authenticity, and I wouldn't need you to do more than just say hello to me. We're overcomplicating this.
We are overcomplicating it, but the apps have overcomplicated it.
No, people have overcomplicated.
You're right. You're right. I agree. Okay, so I love all of that, and I'm taking all of that in. So I have girlfriends that have like 20 guys they're talking at one time on the app. I can't do that. For me, if it's more than 3, I'm overwhelmed. And I think also just out of respect of these guys, you know, like I don't want to talk to more. Usually it's 1 or 2. Right now it happens to be 3, you know, and it's okay for now. But I don't know, like, what do you think that is? Why do you think that is? I think women just, they're bored, and why do women do that?
Well, men do it too. They're playing the numbers.
Oh, okay.
They're falling into this myth that if you play the numbers, that you're going to get a better ROI.
But that's not right, is
it's
it?
not right for me.
Okay, it's not right for me either.
You know, if everything in my marriage ended tomorrow and I went on an app, I wouldn't talk to 20 men at a time. I just wouldn't, because I'm the kind of person, I like to go deep. I like to be close and connected with people. I can't do that with my lifestyle and my schedule and who I am. I wouldn't be able to spread myself so thin.
Yeah.
So regardless of what that is, I would rather have less return on investment as far as the numbers go, and higher quality of the connection.
Okay, so in your, with Level Connections, what do you feel men look for the most, and what do you feel that women look for the most?
Men look for nurturing, and women look for a sense of safety and security.
Okay, top 3. I want more.
You're like,
I want more. I'm like, yeah.
You know, what we're learning is, you know, we can see on the feedback, right? So every time somebody goes out on a date, we send out an automatic feedback form that goes out at 9 a.m. the next day.
Okay.
And what's been beautiful is they actually have to make decisions in that feedback form of, what did you see? What did you like? What do you want to see again? Why do you want to see this person
How
again?
fun.
And so we get into that data.
Yeah.
And you learn that everybody just wants to feel like their best self when they're with that person. It's really not looking at someone and saying, I want the world.
Yeah.
She's got to be beautiful. She's got to be smart.
Her body's got to be
she's gotta be
perfect.
That's
Right.
not the way these men think. It's really about, how did I feel when I was with her? For example, we had a member recently who's highly educated, went to a great school, definitely looking, we think. He told us that the introductions have felt a little uncomfortable for him because the women were so extraordinary.
Oh, wow.
On the apps, he can kind of go on a little bit of autopilot,
Right.
because the bar isn't so high.
Right.
When you meet through us, there's something to consider. We're going to give you quality. We're going to give you something and someone that is as close to the mark as possible. That means you really got to show up.
Right.
Right? And you've got to fight through your nerves.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting that this person who was invested in his search would actually say that it was hurting him to meet women of a higher caliber. So
why do you think that is, though?
Maybe a lack of readiness, maybe underlying fear, insecurity. So that's why you can't ever just do anything, whether I'm in my position as a matchmaker or you're in a position of dating. We can't assume that if somebody declines us, that it means that we were lacking in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And that's the most fascinating thing I've ever seen.
You are doing something super cool. You've been doing it for a while, but you are the matchmaker or the coach on Anna Ferriss's podcast.
Yes.
Last night, she interviewed Nora Jones, who, of course, amazing singer and all that. And then she brought you in with the callers, right? She's unqualified. That's the name of the podcast. And you're the qualified one on the podcast. How did that come about? And are you having, it sounded like you were having a blast last night as I was listening.
I told her today when we were recording how much I love working with her. It feels easy for her because I'm not, you know, one of the celebrities that she brings on. And it feels easy for me too, because she's so good at shining the light and saying, hey, I'm unqualified, April's qualified, let's have her in on this. It's one of my favorite things I do. I used to record with her every week. Now we have one advice segment every single month, just the two of us with a caller. It came about through a mutual friend. And that's how it started. And I think we've been now working together on this for a good couple of years.
Yeah, and you're so good.
Thank you.
Here's the thing about you is, yes, you're a matchmaker. Yes, you love bringing love together, but you're also extremely intuitive. And I think that that's what separates you, because there's a lot of matchmakers out there, you know, even on Clubhouse.
Yes.
You know, there was a matchmaking room popping up every week. And we did a couple rooms that were magical. Sherry Shepherd, who now has her own show, came on one of ours.
Yes.
And she met a couple guys. I met a couple guys, you know, and it was the room was so warm and it was so deep. It wasn't just like, shoot your shot, because we have the shoot your shot, you know, rooms as well on Clubhouse. What is it about you? Like, what is that? Just you get downloads? Like, have you always been that way intuitive?
I have, and I'm lucky to be in a business and in a world where I get to utilize that skill. By the way, I think everybody should utilize the skill.
Yeah.
But to me, being an intuitive is something that we all have. Right. It's just whether or not we practice it and then we mold it, we use it, and we lean on it. I lean on it every day. It actually gets in my way in my business.
Why? How?
If somebody comes in and they've invested, right? Yeah. They have a contract, they want what they want. They'll tell you what it is that they're looking for. Yeah. But intuitively, you know that that's not what's coming down the pipe for them. You know that that's not what's appropriate. That is not the relationship that will serve them. You have to kind of balance this blend of what do they want and what do I know that is really good for them.
Right.
And that's hard. So now I only work with private clients if somebody understands that I'm intuitive and I'm not just like every matchmaker. Yeah. Because I'm going to make sure I honor that.
Right, absolutely. And you're so good at it too. And you've been, you know, Dr. Phil says you are the best of the best.
Well, you know, if Dr. Phil says it,
I mean, if Dr. Phil says you're the best of the best, girlfriend, you know. But you've also been featured on CBS, the morning show, Good Morning America. You were on a show on VH1.
I was.
Tell us a little bit about that show.
That was a show called Making Mr. Right. And I was called in to sort of be the authority, be the matchmaker, and the fairy godmother to 3 aspiring matchmakers.
That's so cool.
But it was a ruse. It was a ruse of these girls are going to pretend like they're matchmakers so they can get into the hearts and the minds of the boys in the house.
Right.
And try to coach them up and then potentially date them. And it was fun. I loved every second of it. But TV doesn't allow you to do the good work, right? They want the chaos. They want the mess. They want the
drama,
mismatch, the drama.
Right.
And I wanted to go in and help everybody because they were, you know, choosing the wrong people.
Right.
So we did a full season and it was a blast. I really, really loved doing that. Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to talk about just as a matchmaker, anything you want people to know about you or a question that I didn't ask you today?
Well, what I'm seeing is, you know, we work with all kinds of ages of people, but what I'm seeing lately is a frustration of older men in an older demographic that are frustrated that women don't have enough time. I'm not hearing that from women, but I'm hearing it from men.
I'm so surprised by that.
Well, we've kind of talked about this.
Yeah.
So if as women mature and have careers and have children, and then those children are grown or about to launch, what happens is we as women in divorce or loss of a partner, we dive in, right? We dive into our network, our communities, our sisterhood, children. We go and we put our minds to something. Men will get a divorce or lose a partner, and their mission is, I want to get back into a relationship, but they don't build their community. They don't do it. That's
my issue right now with men. A lot of the men that I have met on these apps are still healing from a relationship. Some guys are not even divorced yet, but they're ready to jump into something else. That's not fair to us. The women who have done the work, right, who have taken the time, you know, I've done so much work.
Yes, you
and
have.
it's so hard for me with these guys who just want to jump into something else because they're alone, they're lonely, they don't like the feeling of being alone. Like, what do you tell your guys that do stuff like that? What's your advice to men that are not healed yet?
Well, I had 2 gentlemen come to me in the throes of their separation, not even their divorce. And it was like, I want you now. I want to get back out there. I'm lonely. I don't want to go to another party by myself.
Right.
And I had to pump the brakes.
Yes.
Right?
Thank you.
And so as a woman dating, it's not your job to fix these people. It's your job to know, wait a minute, is this guy out because he's lonely? Or is this guy out because he's ready to share, because he's neutral?
Exactly.
So if I were in your shoes and I met somebody and he was still in the chaos of his divorce, it's not so much about how long they've been divorced. It's, does he feel neutral to me? Does he feel centered? Is he out of the blame game? Is he out of the sorrow stage? Is he out of the anger stage? Yes, yes. Okay, cool. It could be 6 months after his divorce. It could be 5 years. It's not about the time. It's about what did they do with that time.
Right.
Because you're right. you can't be used in that kind of environment,
Exactly.
right? Just because somebody's lonely. And people do that to their friends or their family members. Oh, you're lonely? You got a divorce? Get on an app. Get back
All
out
the time.
there.
So the guy that
It's
I had
devastating.
dated for like 3 months, we talked about him. He was not ready to do the apps, and his friends were the ones that were pushing him. Just get out there, because he was always with them, and I think they were tired of him always being with them. They're like, get on the apps. But I just recently had an experience that I mentioned to you. A guy I went out with, like, for 4 dates. On the 4th date, he was telling me he's madly in love with me and wanted to marry me. That's definitely a red flag, right? Hang on a second. Here. Couple questions that I'm going to ask you. You tell me.
This is awesome.
Okay.
This is great.
If a guy,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask again. So if a guy on the 4th date tells you he's madly in love and wants to marry you, is that a red flag? Okay.
Do we say more?
No. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
If a guy wants all your attention and doesn't want you around your friends, is that a red flag?
I think you maybe.
Okay. If a guy tells you that he loves you by the 3rd month, is that a red flag?
No. Again, it's not when they say they love you, how many dates before you have sex, how long should it be since they're divorced. It's what is right for you.
Right.
Everybody does this thing where they want to open up a magazine or a book or go to somebody like me for this magic answer.
Mm-hmm.
And my response is, I don't know. How does it feel for you? Are you saying, you know what, that felt really good?
Right.
My husband said he loved me in 3 months.
He did?
Absolutely.
Aww.
I knew in month 1. I knew almost right away, intuitively, I thought, this is the guy. I called my mother and I said, I think I've just met the man I'm going to marry.
My dad always told me that. He said, when you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do if a guy tells you he loves you and you're not ready to tell him you love him back? Do you say that?
Well, I would want to know how long you've been together
Okay.
and what is there and what are you so afraid of? Love is love. You know, just because you say, I love you, doesn't mean that you're going to get married. It doesn't mean you have to go the extra mile. It doesn't mean you have to grow old together.
Yeah.
If you don't feel it after 3 months of dating somebody and they're feeling it for you, you have to ask yourself why you don't. Why you don't. Because love doesn't take a long time.
It doesn't.
To build up in your being in order to say it.
Right. I agree. So everyone watching right now on Amazon, I do have a carousel on the bottom. There's a bunch of really incredible products. So make sure you tap into those. I'll show you a few of them because this is Amazon and we have to take a little sponsor break. But one of the things that I have that I love, love, love are these incredible glasses.
Oh, those are
Do you
great
like
on
these?
you. I love those.
Red is good, and they come in this nice case. It's Kate Spade. I love it. I love it. But I have other incredible products that you guys should check out. You know, I love my water bottle that I don't have with me right now, but it's over there somewhere. That I absolutely love that you guys will have to check out. But just check out the stuff in the carousel. I curate that just for you. As we are winding down, where can people find you, number one, and how can people apply if they want to be part of your network with Level?
Great. Find me on Instagram. I'm always there, April__Beyer, and levelconnections.com. That way men can apply for membership and women can apply to be in our network.
And is there an age range?
There is not. There is not, especially for women, since it's free for women to be with us. We want everybody there.
Right.
You know, we're working on collaborations with other teams and other matchmakers across the country. So for us, it's so important that if you're single, that you actually come in and do this. So we want everybody to have the attitude of, this is a free lottery ticket.
Right.
Take it, enjoy it. You never know if your number's going to be called.
That's right. So give me one more red flag.
Oh my gosh.
Ready?
I'm on the spot. Red flag. Red flag, when you feel pressured to be physical with someone and you're somewhat flattered and the person is telling you it's just because they think you're really attractive and you feel pushed against a wall, not physically, but you actually feel pushed in any way. You feel like you have to do something. Red flag, because the person you want would never make you feel unsafe.
I love that. So make sure that you guys check out levelconnections.com. April, I love you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And for being here. And I can't wait for you to introduce me to that perfect guy.
It's coming.
It's coming. And I appreciate all of you guys for being with us on Instagram and TikTok. Everyone is here. And we will see you next time on Welcome to My Clubhouse. Bye.